Hey everybody. Had to wait a little bit in order to get all of the information to come out, but let's start the review. Here is Jack. No longer Jack the winner. He's just Jack now that he's a champion. Let's see what he does. Alright. Get okay.
Do I have to kill around here for an invitation, eh?
Okay, he's looking for an invitation.
For a fight. Don't let me down.
Looking for legitimacy, looking for a good fight. Makes sense for the character.
King without breaking a few bones.
It's got brash.
Oh, it looks like you need a lesson in fashion and fighting.
If only you had something to teach me.
Prize fight.
Let's give him
Alright,
a
let's watch the whole
show,
thing and then we can look at the cards.
Or have you always been that ugly?
all flesh, no fight.
Giving extra attack is a weird choice. I guess it's just to get him down to 1.
Ah, Pablo, what'll it take to shut you up, eh? Come on, make them buckle.
Pablo's back.
Go on, do your worst. Who else wants to bet against me, eh?
Okay. So that... Alright, I have to pause for a second. Okay, so that card is a strike effect, but it didn't kill either of them. That's interesting. Okay.
Time to get bloody.
There you go. Making coins every strike.
Looks like someone's got to teach you some manners.
You teach the manners set, I'll teach the fighting. We're playing by my rules.
Alright, does damage, make coin.
My little protege, come for a bit of bloodletting.
You little what? Shut up, Jack.
That's kind of funny.
Busy, Knuckle. Little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Now this is a fight. More.
And there's the coin payoff.
Kill time.
Beat him down. Make him bleed. Never did get your invite.
Jack's ruining his nice suit. What is this? 4 mana, 5/6. Gets overwhelmed now. Strike, create 2 coins instead of 1. And whenever you refill mana, grant me +1/+0 for each mana refilled. So a overwhelm and payoff for coins. Okay. Still has the monocle. Very nice. Very classy. Keeps that hat. Hat has the Tom Kench logo on it. Very cool.
Yeah, because I never heard of you.
Fight me. I'll take on the lot of you. Anyone bet against me? No.
Okay.
And just like that, we showed him who's boss.
Alright. Let's take a look at these cards here. So Jack, 4 mana, 4/5 with brash. A little bit harder to block, but not necessarily. Strike creates a coin in hand, and you have to spend 12 plus mana in 1 round. You don't need coins for that. You can do that on turn 9 with spell mana. But you can also do it with coins and level them up sooner. And leveling up is useful because you get +1/+1, like always. You get overwhelmed so that he can actually start doing damage even when he gets blocked. He gets those coins, doubles the coins, and when you refill mana, grant me more for each mana refilled. So, there is a problem with that compared to characters like Jax and such, right? And that's that he gets that mana. He gets that when you spend coins or when you're refilling mana, and you're not refilling mana on attack pretty much ever. Which means that when he's attacking, has the attack that he has. Unless you somehow summon a unit with a tune on attack, which I don't think is probably going to happen. I think your best bet if you wanted to increase Jack's attack on the attack is probably with Ball Cucks and the Darkened Staff. You put that on another unit that isn't Jack, and it strikes, generates a spell mana, and then Jack gets the attack before he hits. That feels like that could be a thing if you wanted to do Bandle City with Jack. Jack's Risky Venture. Deal 2 to a unit for 3 mana slow, but if it kills it, you get 2 coins in hand, which is effectively a 1 mana refund. So that is pretty good. Yeah, the ability to, and it's a champion spell too, so you can use that to help Brash get in, or you can use it to generate coins. It's just solid damage, honestly. 3 mana is a little bit steep, but as long as you're using it for removal, you're getting that refund. And if you're using it just to land a brash hit, then hopefully that's a big enough brash hit to be worth it for you. 5 Punch Pablo. Ooh, he used to be 8 Punch Pablo. His time came up. He's not dead though. Luckily, he didn't die to Tom Kench or anything yet. But he has 3 mana 4/1 with a tune. When I'm summoned, create a fleeting prize fight in hand. Prize fight being a 1 mana fast. Ally and enemy strike each other, they can't drop below 1 health from this strike. So Pablo only having 1 health means that prize fight won't actually kill him, he's just able to do 4 damage somewhere without any real loss. The downside of using 5 Punch Pablo for that hit is that prize fight is that he only has 1 health, so it's very easy for the opponent to fizzle the prize fight if they just shoot Pablo for really any amount of damage at fast. Nice thing is 5 Punch Pablo has a tune, so that's going to help with the whole refilling mana thing that Jack cares about, or Mab, crazy old Mab. And prize fight costs 1, so the attune is also enough to actually play the spell that's generated. Super nice. You can actually play Pablo on curve after spending all your mana, and you'll still have enough for prize fight. That's pretty cool. 5 Punch Pablo, I think you'll probably see. If he eats an attack, that's great, but you're not losing anything for trying that prize fight. Barnacles, we saw that. I've decided that it is Barnacles, not Bark Knuckles, because it's Barnacles on there. There's no actual bark anywhere. Still a great pun, though. Knuckle, Mako, and Bull, we saw yesterday. We talked about that. I think they're pretty good. The King's Court is a new thing. 7 mana when you summon an ally, create a fleeting prize fight in hand. When an ally survives damage, grant it Brash. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's a big ship. It does something that Jack cares about, just like all the other ships. It doesn't let you draw Jack, though. That's unfortunate. But it is getting you fleeting prize fights for every ally. Prize fights are so cheap, and whenever you use it, you're guaranteed to survive damage. That is going to be a pretty cool effect. I would say that that is a effect worth running with characters like Braum, like these kind of prize fight stuff, but unfortunately, Braum is being rotated. We'll get to that here in a second. Yeah. So, let's zoom out from that. And I think before we go to the actual patch notes, let's take a closer look at these cards. See if there's anything I missed here. Yeah. So, opinions on Jack. I think Jack is pretty good. I think he is an enabler for stuff. He's not really that much of a payoff, but it's a pretty strong enabler. 4 mana for 4/5 with a keyword and generating coins. He's going to generate a couple of coins for you. I think that he is pretty solid. He's not too hard to level up as long as you just kind of plan for it. Risky Venture, Prize Fight. I think Prize Fight is pretty cool. I'm not sure if you're going to really main deck it ever unless you have strike effects that you want to do constantly. Risky Venture, I think, is just going to be a good removal that you see all the time. 5 Punch Pablo, super worth it. Why run Prize Fight in your deck when you can just run a 5 Punch Pablo? play it and you get that effect right away? Well, I can actually answer that question. It's because it is a fleeting prize fight. So you would not run 5 Punch Pablo and you'd run prize fight if you want to have that option at any time rather than needing to sit on 3 unit mana at slow to get that prize fight off. Angel, the anglerfish angel shark, 5 mana, 6/5 brash. Pretty simple, honestly. Really nice looking art, though. I like her. But only a 5 mana, 6/5 with brash. Like, that's fine. Like, brash, I think, is better than fearsome. You can set up to have that hit land. And obviously, it's going to work a lot better once you. Yeah, I think unfortunately you're not going to see her very much. Just a little bit too simple. I guess you could run her, and she's like a bit too expensive. If you're running some kind of like brash deck where you're trying to use make it rains and such to get the opponent low and just always swing in, maybe you'll see her there, but even then, probably not. King's Court is neat. It's very late in the game and sets up when units are summoned, so you better have card draw to be able to play stuff. Yeah, King's Court is just it's giving your stuff brash. I think it's just coming out a little bit too late for what it's trying to say it wants, right? Like just trying to think of a flow of a match where this is coming down on 7 and then you're playing units and then you're prize fighting off of those units to get brash. And sure, that's reducing the opponent. It's not killing, it's not removing anything from the opponent's board, but it is making them unable to block your brash units. Like, I guess you'd be playing this and hoping to win on 8, maybe? But I just kind of don't see it that well. Could be fun, and I can see what it's trying to do. Like, just give you a turn, but there's like these extra steps of needing to actually play the units and then play fast speed prize fights and then swing. It seems very disruptible. But yeah, let's take a look at the patch now. Patch 4.3.0. New expansion, Gloria Navori. I don't work, I slay. I'm betting that is a line from Samira. I'm going to guess that's Samira. Challengers from all over Runeterra have come to answer the one question. Can they find glory in Navori? In this expansion, there's 3 new champions and the Dragon Mancer event. Okay, an event makes sense. There's also Rotation, which will create 2 formats. Eternal, which is going to be all of the cards. And Standard, which is a smaller, curated set of cards, including the new cards. New cards you can play in either one. Path Lovers, hey, that's me. Don't worry, you're getting some love in the expansion as well. Brand new monthly challenges intended to test the skills of our most devoted Path players. Playable tomorrow. Okay. New mechanics, coin. We know about coins. Brash. We know about Brash. Brash, I think, is a better fearsome. Coin is a pretty fun. It's a vocab, but it's really just like a card that has like some extra mechanics behind it. Path of Champions. We're getting Jack. We're getting Set. We're getting Samira. Jack is all about refilling mana since he's a guy that generates coins all the time. He makes prize fights because he's about brash. And when you refill mana and dealing 1 damage, which is also about brash. Okay. So he is about refilling mana for benefit and dealing damage to allow his brash to hit. Alright, that seems decent. We'll have to see what his actual deck is. See how like fun he'll be to play. Set. Every 6 mana you spend each round, grant allies +1/+0. Okay. He doesn't innately have a way to generate coins, but it is a grant, which is nice. Jack only gets a give. +1 starting mana, round start, create a coin in hand. That's cool. If you get Set, you're going to want to get that round start right away. Star Power 3. Every 6+ mana you spend each round, grant allies +2/+2. Much bigger payoff. You kind of want to go wide for that while also having a lot of mana. After you spend 12+ mana each round, rally. Okay. And you're generating those coins every turn. I like Set. Set actually seems like a bit more fun than Jack just based off of those powers. You're generating the coins automatically, and those are stacking. And then you're able to spend the mana going wide, which will grant you +4/+4 and rally if you spend 12 in a round. Let's see Samira, though. She's going to be kind of a aggro-y type. First time you damage the enemy nexus each round, the next card you play costs 1 less. That is really good for Plunder. That'll be pretty cool. +1 starting mana. When you play your third card each round, grant allies +1/+1. Okay, so rather than spending mana, it's about the number of cards you play. Once again, grant. That's great. The first time you damage the enemy nexus each round, the next card you play costs 3 less. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I like Set the most, just because the stacking coin thing can give you some pretty cool stuff. I think Samir is my second favorite here in terms of Path of Champion, I mean. Because of the, like, cheating stuff out early. And then Jack, just based on power, is probably my least favorite. You're only giving allies. It's all about, like, sneaking stuff through with Brash. And that's kind of, that's fine, I guess. Ash. Yeah, she's in. Very weird to have that in here, but okay. Yeah, Ash is around. New mode, monthly challenges. Do you have a huge collection of characters and looking for new, harder challenges that can push the roster to limits? Monthly challenges are for you. Monthly challenge is 70 micro adventures. 1 or 2 battles, then you arrive at the big boss. But there is a twist. Each champion can only be used 3 times, win or lose. That means you can't use Jinx to steamroll every encounter you're having trouble with. Excited gets in front of you to try, but there are adjustments and improvements we still want to make. This is a beta version of monthly challenges. Now everybody wants to know what shiny loot can you get. Right now, honor and respect. There's a leaderboard. I want to receive feedback and add rewards to monthly challenges in the future, but make sure they're just getting it out to be playable for now. Be warned, these challenges are going to be tough, even for highly experienced players with big rosters of champions. We expect most players won't make it through the entire challenge the first month. It should be a fun goal to work towards. Well, I'll try and do that. You can find that on Twitch as I try to go through that. Each champion can only be used 3 times. I do have most of the champions already. 1 or 2 battles, then the boss. So it's basically like half of a normal run. Presumably you're still able to build out your deck. You would need to have like an accelerated way to build out your deck. Well, we'll see how that works out. Next up, Dragon Mancer. This is the event that's happening. Looks like some emotes, some icons, getting some shards, of course, card backs, and some skins. Dragons in Runeterra vary. Their appearances give credence to the storied past. Purchase before April 12th, and you get some extra stuff. Right. Okay, so first up, Aurelian Soul. Okay, this is the Storm Dragon thing. And at level 2, very Storm Dragon-y, gets even bigger. Same location. Okay, pretty good. And that's one of the ones you'll get on the pass. The other one you get on the pass is going to be Tranquility Dragon Karma. Okay, you got the dragon thing there. There's some guy coming to see her. Okay. And it's a big old dragon, multicolored like that. Interesting. The whole 2-color aspect. Alright, I think I like it. Very pretty, these dragon skins. Ooh, Water Dragon Kaisa. Now, if you're running Kaisa with some kind of bilge water deck, this might be the skin for you. Get that theming. Comes out of the water with the dragons. Okay, looking good. I like it. This is what, Ash? Fey Dragon Ash. Right, big old dragon, a bow. Yeah, just looking nice. Very, very LeBlanc looking. Am I right? Like, oh, the kind of hair and accoutrement, but you have big spectral dragon in the bow. I like it. Okay. Oh, this is Jack. So a skin for Jack loses some of his fish manny elements, I think, as the big horn. Interesting. That's kind of funny. A Runeterra a champion that's exclusive to this game gets a on-release skin, just like in League of Legends. Okay. Looking kind of smug. He's coming to see Karma, and all those guards don't want him here. Then he goes on a rampage. Gets more Oni looking, has the big old dragon as the tail. Barehanded, doesn't have his staff or cane. It's like a level up here. Here we go. Okay. I think I like that one a bit more than his normal one. So if you like your champions, if you like getting champion skins for the level ups, I think this one's worth it for good old Jack. Although I like Jack's normal appearance a bit more, I think, with the suit and such. Changes his generated spells. Ooh, that's white. Okay. Alright. Set also has an on-release skin. Teaching some kids. And then punching a rock, showing that's how it's done. Okay, let's see this one. There he is punching that rock. That one I think the level up is less good than his original skin. Okay. And of course, all of those cards you're getting updated art versions. And then Cascade Dragon Nami. Interesting. Right, there she is finding the orb thing that she's been looking for. And coming out of the water. Cool dragon. Very, very pretty. Very like rainbow prismatic. Let's see this one here. Wow, actual rainbow. Is there an actual rainbow in the art? Oh, the rainbow's gone. Okay, but there was a rainbow, right? Yeah, look at that right there. Rainbow. That's cute. I like that. That's nice. I think I like the D&D one more. Oh, but those are some really nice. Some really nice, colorful versions of her champ spell. Card back, Set's Invitation. Or Set. Honestly, I like the Invitation. It's like clean. You can put that in with any kind of like fighter deck. I could put this on like a Jax deck and still feel good about it. Actual Set, you put on a Set deck. Actual Jack, you put on a Jack deck, maybe a Tom Kench deck. Samira, you can put it with any kind of Black Rosy deck. Emotes, pretty good for a coin deck. These, of course, are you're all just getting in the pass. Yeah, just play that when you're making a lot of coins. If you're ramping mana, I think you can find that use in any of those kinds of decks. Seriously, that's the best you got? Yeah, just another like incredulous emote. There's several of these, so it's up to preference. That one's pretty good for just kind of like, what are you doing? wasting my time. Like sure. And then come here so I can punch you in the face. Just another come at me kind of one. Feel like you're set. You can get the cocky, like, I'm not afraid of you kind of emote. Icons. One's for skins. One's for just champions. Icons for the last one. Okay. Honestly, this is one of the ones where actually being in Masters gets you the best one. Yeah, a world rune that's has more effects and colors the higher you are. Okay. Backed by popular demand, ranked icons that can be acquired for Glory and Navori. Uh-huh. Extra tassels. Card gets more embellished. So you get to silver. Gold looks fine. You actually start getting writing on the invitation. I think Masters, Platinum, and Gold are the best ones here. Alright, then you get some bundles. You can get some bundles if you want some champion skins. Deck bundles if you want some pre-made decks. Some actual card adjustments. Okay. They removed Elite from the trusty Ramhound. Makes sense for the same reason that they removed. They've done similar things like this in the past, so that they don't like combo off of each other. Editor's note: if you turn Trusty Ramhound into an Elite with field promotion, it will buff itself. Okay. Trusty Ramhound gnawed apart Cythria's favorite pair of boots, leading to a swift demotion from Elite status. I hate to see it. Thanks to new additions, the Elite archetype has been overpowering. Removing Elite from the Hound should help slow down some of the potential for explosive draws. So this is a nerf just because of not what was added, but because of just how the Elite deck has been performing. Powder Pandemonium, nerfed with a +1 cost. It was initially created as a powerful payoff in a world where cheap, powerful plunder cards were scarce, with Samira bringing a host of aggressive plundering, or preemptively bumping up Pandemonium's cost to compensate. That makes sense. This is a preemptive one based on the new cards because it is going to be much easier to get a lot of plunders very quickly. Portal Palooza is becoming focus speed. Take out your patch bingo cards and mark off Burst Unit Summon goes to focus. Burst Unit Summoning can be very frustrating to play against, especially when coupled with the RNG element of portals. We're bringing Portal Palooza in line with its brethren, and are going to be very intentional moving forward where and when we fit Burst Summons into a card's power budget. Yeah, this one probably doing a little bit too much at burst speed, and so it has become focus. That's fine. You just need to be. You can't save it as a emergency hope I survive button. You have to use it with a bit more forethought. I think it's still totally playable. Mostly, you're still gonna want to do it if you're in some kind of portal deck, or you care about. It still does everything you kind of care about. Hextech Handler loses quick attack keyword, so it no longer innately has quick attack. Instead, you'll need to share it using the other effects. This is still just kind of a get its effect off and then you care less about it. But you're not going to be able to play it and be aggressive with it and wait until you play a 6-cost spell. It's going to be a bit more of a backline unless you've played a 6-cost spell, in which case it is now come in, done its job, and you can throw it away in combat. With their new tools and buffs, big spell decks have risen to a potent spot in the metagame, while Lux is sauntering her way over to Eternal. Okay, so Lux is going to be Eternal. Piltover's Wisest are sticking around in Standard to wreak havoc. We're taking Quick Attack off of Hextech Handler to add interaction through blocking as a way to fight back against the Tech Menace. Okay, makes sense. Steam, -1 health. While we're excited to see the buffs to the Husk package bringing back Evelyn in a big way, Steam has stood out as an overperformer. Steam's Scout keyword, as well as the ability to dish out vulnerable, are core to his design, so they don't want to change that. So we're knocking off a point of health to make him easier to tangle with, especially if he consumes a Husk or two when he drops. That, once again, makes sense. He's not just a 3/3 most in a actual, Husk deck. He is probably going to be a 3/4 or even higher, depending on the number of Husks. Now he's going to come out and be a 3/3 or a 3/4 in a Husk deck. But if it's not a Husk deck, he's going to have a much harder time surviving as like a backline engine. Buffs. Serpent is going back to being a 2/1. With rotation, Targon is losing access to most invoke low-cost tools in Standard. With that in mind, we still want the Serpent to be a consideration when you see it from an invoke. With a higher power ceiling in Eternal, it feels like the right time to restore some of Zoe and Co.'s former glory, put the danger back in the danger noodle. Yeah, that makes sense. If it's going to be harder to actually generate the Serpent in Standard, there should be more of a reward for getting it. And in Eternal, with access to all the cards and some pretty powerful combos, you're going to want cards to have a higher power ceiling. So they're reverting the nerf. And we're seeing the same thing with Ballistic Bot. Along with rotation and the creation of Eternal format, we want to start finding targeted changes for Eternal cards. Adjustments like this are examples of how we plan to make the format feel fun and fresh, while turning up the dial on the format's power level. When we near the ranked Eternal season, we'll be honing in and exploring more spicy changes, but for now we wanted to give a small taste of what's to come with a few reverts to these 3 cards that have been iconic throughout lore's history. So once again, a revert because it's going to Eternal. Atrocity, back to fast. That was pretty quick, but that's based on what they said because of it being in Eternal. War Chef's back to being a 2/3. So these 3 changes are all just because they're reverts to previous nerfs because they're going to Eternal. Competitive, last day of the beta season. New Masters LP system. Rotation. Any bug fixes that are important to know about? Priestess of Desert Lights doesn't trigger unless you have 6 unique champions. That's good. Rest an issue where Master Tier players were gaining and losing a static amount of LP each game. Okay. Fixed a inflation issue. Cleaned up a large amount of card text. Buster Shot will properly track equipment being played for cost reduction. Oh, that's cool. Godwillow Seedling. Go get it. Cost reduction will now apply to fan club residents. Champions that level up taking damage will now die to disintegrate. Champion spells will now turn back into champions after being killed by Master Yi. Okay, it looks like trying to summon a darkened in its unit form will no longer force allies to obliterate a unit if the back row is full and contains a husk. Suppression field and Petrocyte's presence. Improvise units with randomly create extra equipment. Weird. This was a problem that I knew about. Fix an issue where Nor's Keycup would occasionally cause the game to freeze. If the first thing you drew on the first turn of the game was something with Nora's Teacup and a portal, that would freeze the game. But that is fixed. That's good to know. Okay, then there is a rotation article where they talk about just what Eternal is. It's all of the cards in the game. It lets you play with everything. Additionally, some of the cards rotating to Eternal will be unnerfed, making them as exciting as the first day they were released. You can. There's going to be a drop-down menu in the game for whether you want to build for Eternal or Standard or play for Eternal or Standard. Okay. All right. Well, that is everything from the patch and from Jack. Only thing left is going to be deck building, trying stuff out. There is a lot to go over here. As soon as all the cards are in the game tomorrow, I will go over them, the arts and flavor text, and I think we will put together what is the lore, what is happening here, what's the story of Glory and Navori. So feel free to subscribe and like the video so that you won't miss that. And I will see you tomorrow. You guys have a good one.